Hello, everyone, and good evening. Before I speak, I'd like to say something, as we say in Hebrew. First of all, I'd like to thank the Institute. I'd like to thank Frank, who is at the basis of this institute's ability to operate, and Amos, who has been leading this institute for many years, and all the other of people involved in the research. I think that it benefits the state of Israel, the fact that there is an independent professional institute that researches and organizes reality and formulates it in a way that one can read, one can learn. This is definitely very, very important. Good evening. Before we delve into the matter, I'd like to tell you that I have been informed of the return of Naama Issachar home, which makes us all very happy. I spoke with Naama's mother all along. We heard that there was very responsible conduct. I hope that the news are correct. We're going to keep up that, and hopefully she will return home quickly. And just as importantly, it's important to emphasize the return of the different IDF, POWs, and MIAs, because this event is just as important on the national level. And hopefully that this news of returning home will be true for Naama, but also just as much for our people and fallen soldiers in the Gaza Strip and wherever they are. The citizens of Israel, in recent months, we have met, my team and mine, with President Trump's team, led by Jared Kushner, David Friedman, the American ambassador, Avi Berkovitz, the emissary to the Middle East, and we discussed the peace plan of the American administration. As an Israeli patriot, I'd like to tell you tonight that this program reflects the written basic principles written in the platform of Blue and White, and serve as a basis for future peace in the Middle East. Therefore, next week already, I will submit to the Knesset for its approval the full plan of President Plan as it was announced yesterday by the American administration. The deal of the century is the second significant historic event that occurred this week. The first one, which was more regretful, happened when the indictment was submitted to a court of law against a prime minister for corruption, bribery, and bribery. And the immediate significance of that is that the prosecutor, the defendant, Netanyahu, cannot serve in his position not even one more day. He is so busy with hearings and attorneys and hearings, and the understandable fear from being sent to prison. We wish him the best of luck at court. In order to realize Trump's plan, what we need is an honest, credible prime minister who is free to focus on the affairs of the state. We are talking about a historic opportunity to shape the future and borders of the state of Israel, finding a solution to the conflict instead of managing the conflict. After a decade of paralysis, it is high time, and ladies and gentlemen, we must make progress. I would like to thank President Trump, with whom I met this week for a special and unprecedented meeting. Trump is a true friend of Israel and of the Jewish people, and yes, he is also a determined statesman. And our goal is a simple one. We want the state of Israel as a safe, Jewish, and democratic country to part safely from the Palestinians. This is the goal we should strive for as part of the realization of this important and strategic goal. As Prime Minister, I shall take action to realize this program as I strive to agreements with regional countries, Jordan, Egypt, and other countries, and of course with the Palestinians. A responsible Palestinian leadership must accept the principles of the program and to immediately start discussing them. I would like to call upon the Palestinian leadership. Ever since the Hebron Agreement, which was signed by Arafat and Netanyahu, you've become naysayers. Why don't you say yes once and give your children hope for a better future? Don't miss out on yet another opportunity for peace. The program recognizes your need for political independence over 70% of the territories of the West Bank, and also a connection to Gaza Strip, and addressing the issue of a maritime port and other measures that will give a boost to your economy. After so many years of conflict, it is high time that you recognize the state of Israel as a Jewish state. The arrangement must lead to the end of the historic conflict which has taken such a heavy toll of both sides. Instead of it, we can live in peace and in good neighborly relations, and to enable our children and our grandchildren to give them a good place to live in. For all our sakes, we must advance. The peace plan requires extensive action which is integrated and smart on the political and security levels. Harsh and irresponsible measures which are not coordinated with Jordan, Egypt, and the moderate Arab countries risk the ability to implement it. Any partial measures that will be taken without preparation work by the diplomatic and security establishment will not lead to any kind of change. Regretfully, instead of taking care of the people of this country, once again he's looking for a political profit and only looks after his own interest. Instead of protecting the Jordan Valley and the Israeli towns and villages in Judea and Samaria out of a long-term view, he is risking the country and the ability to realize this rare opportunity that has been given to us to bring a good agreement, an agreement that's good for Israel under American auspices. We're not going to play this game at the expense of the citizens of Israel. This outline that we've seen is not there in empty space. Today as well, it is important to discuss at length what is happening to Israel's security and resilience, as we saw in the INSS annual assessment, which I read with great attention. In recent years, certain important elements in the Israeli security concept have been eroded. We went to election campaigns 3 times only because of Netanyahu's interests. During this time, and this was written in the situation estimate, Israel hardly initiated any strategic measures for improving its political situation. On the key issues of Israel's safety, that we faced a standstill, perhaps even significant regression and withdrawal. And of course, the results speak for themselves. Hezbollah has grown, has become stronger, has armed itself, and since the disengagement from the Gaza Strip, for the first time, we lost certain regions in Tzofar and Naharaim, and that is due to negligence and the absence of a policy vis-à-vis Jordan. Instead of strengthening the relationship that we received from the late King Hussein, which from and this partnership with Yitzhak Rabin of blessed memory, we have harmed the relationship with our important strategic partner to the east. We have broken a dubious record since the protective edge of 1,300 rocket missiles that were launched at the south of Israel. Our foreign ministry is disintegrated, hardly functions, and worst of all, Iran is closer than ever to nuclear capabilities. Thousands of its combatants are deployed throughout the northern border. In order to tackle these issues, we are going to take 3 main measures. In the military strategic theater, we're going to improve our military capability vis-a-vis Iran. We're going to increase the might of our deterrence, and we are going to continue to execute specific operations to keep the Iranians away from our border. On the diplomatic sphere, we're going to harness and mobilize the superpowers to side with us against the Iranians. I met with 6 presidents and prime ministers from all over the world this week, and I emphasized the need for such a determined action, and I believe that there's a consensus regarding the strategic need on the global level. On the southern sphere, we are going to regain the deterrence that has been wiped out by Netanyahu, and we're going to lead to some kind of a decision and arrangement that would include bringing our boys home, and we will do that even if it means that we need to utilize unprecedented power that we do have. Well, to the security erosion, as has been written in the situation estimate, there is the erosion to Israel's internal national resilience. The percentage of those who serve in the military is constantly being diminished, and we need a new solution of a military and civil service to everyone. The budgetary deficit, which has grown to a scary amount, do not enable us to establish a multi-annual plan that will bring stability in the military system, neither in other systems in Israel. Our educational system, as we've seen in the various comparative tests, is in some very dire straits and is ranked number 1 in its gaps in the OECD. We have excellent teachers, but they do not have the sufficient or suitable means. Our healthcare system is at a standstill. The sick are standing in line or lying in the halls, and our excellent doctors cannot, manage this overload. And, our heart goes out to all the doctors who have taken their own lives because it's such a difficult system. The political rift is disintegrating us, and it is turning us weak externally. We've seen in the studies presented here that divide the that despite the attempts to divide and conquer, the people of Israel are united. The level of trust in our defensive forces, in our security forces, the level of trust is high. The IDF, the ISA, and the Mossad receive a lot of trust from all Israeli citizens. But the Israeli citizens are losing the very little trust they have in the political and the governmental systems, and that is happening because somebody wanted it to happen. A person who meets with attorneys more than he meets with ordinary citizens won't be able to heal the healthcare system. A person whose moral and ethical standards will be put to test daily at court now will not be able to advance the educational system. A person who's trying to divide and conquer will not be able to unite us so that we will live with mutual respect. As Prime Minister, if and when I'll be elected, I will change the national priorities. In about a month and 1 week, I shall take action to establish a government that will seek to bring back trust in the government and state systems, that will bring the different camps closer to each other, that will increase solidarity, that will enhance the existing resilience mechanisms and build new ones, because that's the only way that we will be able to prepare and focus both as we face our internal challenges and as we face the external challenges threatening Israel's safety and further success. The State of Israel needs a very stable hand on the steering wheel in order to advance its security. The State of Israel needs an honest and responsible leadership in order to advance the peace program. Netanyahu himself said only a year ago, "You cannot bring a political plan at the eve of elections without having received a mandate from that." And I'm quoting from what Netanyahu said, who now needs to go and deal with his legal affairs. We must thank him for all the good things he did for the State of Israel, because we need to make a progress.